This is STV News. Good evening. The Prime Minister says she will work to ensure that Scotland and the UK flourish together as she made a visit to Aberdeenshire. It's Theresa May's first trip to Scotland in the general election campaign. But the SNP today say they will protect Scotland from her Conservative UK government. Stephen Brown reports.
Believe the polls, and the Conservatives haven't been this popular in Scotland for decades. Despite the few hecklers, Theresa May got a rather warmer welcome inside from her gathered supporters. The Prime Minister came to Banchory today in a seat that the Tories once held. Her message was a clear pitch to voters. A strong Conservative vote, she said, would lead to a strong Scotland in the UK.
There is only one party that is committed to the Union. There's only one candidate for Prime Minister who will stand up and defend the United Kingdom. And my commitment is clear, that if you strengthen my hand in those Brexit negotiations, I will work to ensure that Scotland and the UK flourish together.
Coming to Scotland, Brexit was weighing heavily on May's mind as the EU leaders agreed their negotiating terms. But she knows it's something Scotland voted against.
Obviously come here today and talked an awful lot about the strength of the Union, but what do you say to voters who believe it's because of the Union that they're now being dragged out of the EU against their will in Scotland? And what do you what do you say to those as well who are saying that you are then for denying them their second independence referendum?
Look, on the issue of leaving the European Union, there was a very clear decision by Parliament that a vote will be given to the people across the United Kingdom. The people across the United Kingdom, and by a majority, voted to leave the European Union. The question now is who is going to be in government, who's going to be providing the leadership in number 10 to ensure that we get the best possible deal for the whole of the United Kingdom from those Brexit negotiations.
The Conservatives believe in areas like this, they're on the march. The Prime Minister has come to this old Conservative heartland with an old Conservative message of unionism, buoyed by the opinion polls, but she knows that she's got work to do if they're to chip away at the nationalist vote. In Glasgow, the First Minister was holding her own rally. She claimed only a strong group of SNP MPs can hold the Conservatives to account at Westminster.
I want to win as many seats and as many votes as possible, and I intend to win this election in Scotland. More votes, more seats than any other party, so that we can keep Scotland moving forward, and also so that we can make sure that we don't have an emboldened, strengthened Tory government able to do whatever it wants in Scotland, that we have those strong voices and that strong opposition.
Elsewhere, the Lib Dems today telling voters in Kirkintilloch that they are the party to stand up to the SNP.
Well, Liberal Democrats are on the rise in Scotland. We're gaining more support, and in seats right across the country from the Highlands to the Central Belt, Liberal Democrats are the challengers to the SNP, not the Conservatives.
Labour leader Kezia Dugdale was in Edinburgh saying the Conservatives are the real threat for another referendum.
Well, it's because of the Tories' gamble on Brexit that we are faced with the prospect of a second independence referendum. If people want to oppose independence but also vote for investment in their local public services, the only way they can do that is by voting Labour. The
Prime Minister will hope today's done enough to convince Scottish voters with less than 6 weeks until election day. Stephen Brown, STV News, Banchory.